Hi, this is Mark, and you're listening to Sports, Politics, and Occasionally Cats, Spoc. Welcome to our podcast today, where you will learn interesting and funny stories about sports, of course, and occasionally politics, but more importantly, stories about wonderful cats in Emmett's life. We're so glad you're here. You can follow us on all the Instagram sites and Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and wherever you get podcasts. Remember, it's sports, politics, and occasionally cats.
Hello, and welcome to the next episode of
Sports, Politics, and Occasionally Cats.
My name is Emmett.
And I'm Mark, and thanks for joining us for our new episode of Spoc. We're glad to have you here, and remember, check us out on YouTube so you can watch our podcast and subscribe and like us, and we'd love your feedback. Remember that sports, politics, and occasionally cats. Hey, Emmett, what are we going to talk about this week? We got a lot on our agenda. So
first is how the Chiefs preseason went, and then the roster cuts and how the upcoming season looks.
That'll be a lot to talk about there. It's a big busy week in football, and we're getting geared up. We're a week and a week out from start of the regular season. And
next Thursday start regular season.
Yeah, that's great. And what else are we going to discuss today?
The Royals playoff run and if they can make it.
Yep. They're making a good push, but they're still a little ways out. And then there's some big news. What's one of your favorite weekend shows to watch?
For our current event topic, we're going to talk about SNL and what I'm calling the mass exodus of cast members after season 50.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Here we are a few weeks out from the beginning of a new season 51. Season 50 was pretty good, but yeah, they're announcing a bunch of changes, so we'll go over that. And then at the end, we've got kind of a special
surprise
when it comes to our occasionally cats, or as I like to say, pets. So Emmett, let's go back to football and the Chiefs. What do you think of their preseason? 0-3 again. I know you were hoping for a win or two during preseason, but what's kind of the big preseason takeaway for you?
I'd say Minshew is definitely a good backup. I may not have watched like every second of every preseason game because the games don't matter. But from what I saw, Minshew did a lot better than Zappy did, and so I think Minshew is definitely a strong backup QB.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think most people going into the preseason and when they signed Gardner Minshew as their backup quarterback were pretty excited, and he looked really good. It's probably one of the better backup quarterbacks we've had in a while. Not that we haven't had good ones, but that's a confidence boost for the team. I thought the left side of their offensive line looked a lot better and maybe a little more solid than what we've had the past couple years. You know me, I'm always into the linemen. So that's encouraging. It'll be interesting to see if they take kind of the elevated play they had during the preseason and that carries through to the regular season. So a little bit encouraging there. What do you think? It looked like a lot of our draft picks did pretty well in preseason.
Yeah,
that was great. But boy, the preseason's over. It's a time to really get the roster put together. Everybody seems pretty confident about the 53 player roster. Then they've got a pretty good extensive list of returning people on the practice squad. So they're lined up and ready to go. A few injuries. We've lost, it looks like Jalen Royals is questionable for the week one. Be kind of curious to see how he would have played, but better to get him healthy for the long run than risking him early in the season. But we've also lost another receiver for 6 games.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, Emmett.
And here's the thing. I am a Chiefs fan, but Rashee Rice needed to be suspended because as I told many people, you can't commit a hit and run, especially on a highway and especially after you injure people. So as much as it's going to stink to not have Rice for the first 6 games, I mean, something had to give, and so hopefully our other receivers can step up, and we don't have too big a hole.
Yeah, it'll be good to see put more pressure on Xavier Worthy and Juju Smith-Schuster, but a chance for them to shine. And it's unfortunate what Rashee Rice has to go through, but I think he's learned a lesson, and there's probably some punishment was warranted. Got it down to 6 games. I think initially they're thinking 10, which would have been that would have been tough. So better to get it over with and get going and bring him back for week 7 and get rolling. But the Chiefs roster looks pretty good. But boy, Emmett, you look at the Chiefs schedule moving forward. Lots of primetime games, some midday games, some late afternoon games. But boy, that schedule looks really, really tough.
Yeah, and something I've noticed, and this may just be because we didn't win the Super Bowl, and when you don't win the Super Bowl, you don't get a whole lot of 325 games. We have more noon games this year than we've had in the last few years, which is, again, probably because we didn't win the Super Bowl and have the three-peat, but it's still like. So, what's your favorite game time on Sundays? Noon, 3:30, or Sunday night?
Boy, that's a tough one, Emmett. I probably like the 3:30 games, the late afternoon games, a little bit because you can get a lot of Sunday chores done and things out of the way and get really lined up for football. But I also like Sunday night football. I just like watching a good game. So I'll take them at any time we can get them, as long as they're good and the Chiefs are competitive, which it looks like they will be. But yeah, you're right. We've got a few more noon games. I don't know if that's as much as us losing the Super Bowl or the ascendancy of other teams like the Colts, not the Colts, the Eagles. Yeah. They've done pretty well the last few years, so they got more primetime games, I think. But I still think we've locked down a lot of the big day games. We're going to be playing on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we're going to have to figure out how to eat our Thanksgiving meal and open our Christmas presents around the football schedule.
And it's actually funny. My brother, I won't name him. My brother, when the first schedule came out, he was complaining that they're playing on both holidays because they can't be with their families that day now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I really don't mind because yes, they're not spending the day with their families, but they're getting national attention on both days and on both major holidays this fall, and that's something that hasn't happened to the Chiefs very much in their tenure as a team, right?
Yeah, I think it's gotten better since Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and Chris Jones and Andy Reid have been around. And I think the Chiefs are trying to make a play, and it's been reported quite a bit out there in the media that Clark Hunt and the Chiefs ownership want to kind of lock in the Christmas Day game, sort of like the Cowboys have locked in Thanksgiving as when the Detroit Lions is one of the big day holiday games. They kind of have a lock on that part of the schedule. So I think the Chiefs are making a run to become America's team in lieu of Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys seem like a bit of a dumpster fire. But
they just got rid of Micah Parsons.
Yeah, that was kind of a big move. It had been reported earlier in the week that they'd worked out a deal with Green Bay, so it didn't really surprise me when it came up. I don't know. A lot of people say Dallas made a bad trade. Green Bay got a Pro Bowl player, which is pretty good, but 2 first-round picks can go a long way. So it'll be curious what Dallas does with that and see if they get better. I just get a little concerned that Jerry Jones is more into the showmanship than he is in the putting a quality team on the field. I mean, they do okay, but it's been a long run before they've been a long time since they've made a good long run in the playoffs. So we'll see how it plays out, but it certainly puts Green Bay at the forefront of the NFC, I mean.
Yeah, and as long as the Chiefs have Mahomes, I'm sure the league will let them always play on Christmas. Like, once Mahomes is gone and the Chiefs aren't good anymore, we might not get to play on Christmas every year.
Oh, let's not talk about that future. I don't even want to think about that. That's hopefully a long way off, and hopefully Patrick can hang around to kind of do a Tom Brady thing into his 40s. How about that? Knock on wood. Yeah, let's just get through this season, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah, so the Chiefs, they got that tough schedule. That's what happens when you're a perennial winner and make it to the Super Bowl. They've got the Eagles. They've got a tough game in Brazil to open the season against the Chargers.
Next Friday at 7:00 on YouTube.
Okay, there you go. Promo for the Chiefs. And then who else do they play in the opening weeks? I mean, they've got Baltimore. That'll be a tough game.
It's at quote unquote at the Chargers versus the Eagles
here at home, which will be a big game.
And then at the Giants and at the Ravens, I believe.
Yeah, versus
the Ravens. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that's a tough first 4 or 5 weeks. They also have Buffalo on the schedule, and they've got to play 2 against the Chargers, the Raiders,
the Donkeys.
The Donkeys.
Also, do you think Isaiah Likely will do what he did last year and have his toe out of bounds at the end of the game?
Well, that was talk about winning a game of inches. That was a game of fraction of inches. Let's hope. That was a thing. Last year it seems like we had so many close scoring games or games we pulled out at the last minute. Those nail biters. Those are hard to watch at any time of day. So hopefully we can do a little better. It looks like the Chiefs are going to jazz up their offense, kind of get back to that stretching the field long, downfield, a little more excitement. It's been reported, and you've heard Patrick talk about the fact that he just, the offense was okay, but it wasn't, kind of that run and gun and wide open play that they had early in his career. So a little bit more of that'll be great. The defense should be strong, but just, having that microscopic half an inch of toe out of bounds on the white, don't want those kind of games. But yeah, it's a tough schedule ahead. What's your prediction? I think we talked about this before for their record this season, Emmett.
I'd say I'm going to be a little more conservative because last year, the last 2 times they've had 2 lost seasons, they didn't win the Super Bowl, and the last time they had a 14-3 season, they won the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go. I don't know. I mean, Buffalo is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Baltimore is going to be tough.
Yep.
Philly is going to be tough.
Yep.
Commanders will probably be a little tough. Those are all 4 games they could easily lose if they don't. So I'm going to say 13-4.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number. I'd probably go with that too. And in addition to the teams you mentioned, I think Denver and the LA Chargers are going to be a little tougher than they've been in the past, and we'll see about the Raiders. So, I think if they could pull off 13-4, that would be a pretty darn good season, get them into the playoffs. And hopefully they can win the division and maybe get a bye, which has always worked well for them. But we know now that they can get into the Super Bowl without getting that bye. But I think it's going to be a tougher road. The AFC is just a tough division to play in.
Yeah.
So, Emmett, we've got football. We'll be excited. We'll be all geared up for Thursday to watch the season opener in São Paulo, Brazil. And then, but still, here we are, almost on the verge of September 1st. We're recording over Labor Day weekend, and we're talking Royals baseball.
Competitive Royals baseball.
Thank you. Perfect. Exactly. Operative word, competitive. There were some dark days there a few years back when all we would hope for is not a 100-loss season. But yeah, the last year they made the playoffs, and they're making a playoff run. The trades they made at the deadline, we talked about that in the last episode, seem to have worked out really well. Their power and their offense is kind of coming back. Seems like it's been a good spark in the clubhouse and with the team. But they're just, they're 3 games above 500 now? 3 or 4? Yeah. But they're still 3 games out of the wild card, and it seems like we can't catch a break when Cleveland rallied back the other night to come back and beat the Mariners, which set up a perfect opportunity for us to pick up a game, but then we lost the game late in the inning to Detroit. We have 2 more against Detroit this weekend. We really, really, really need to win those games and hope that Seattle loses. But, I don't know about you, but I'm, hoping it's a tough stretch. They've got 9 games here at home, or 8 more to go after last night's game. But maybe they can make a run, and one of the teams ahead of them could falter. New York's on shaky ground. Their trades didn't seem to work out as well for them as they would have hoped.
Although they just took, so far, both games from the White Sox.
Yeah, they needed to do that. But so, what do you think? What do you like about the Royals' chances getting into the playoffs?
I mean, and this is what I heard on sports radio this last week. I forget what show it was, but it was basically the guy said that we're gonna have to go 6-3 on this homestand, and if we go any less than that, and we don't have a super successful homestand, he used the phrase we're gonna have to run the table to make the playoffs. Which, if you don't know what that means, it means we're basically gonna have to hope that the rest of the teams in front of us collapse and we don't collapse. So,
Right. And we win every game.
Yeah.
That's kind of the run the table thing. Yeah, go ahead.
and if we there is a big series coming up in a couple weeks on a weekend series against the Mariners, because right now we have the tiebreaker over the Mariners because we took 2 or 3 in Seattle. If we take even one game from them here in Kansas City, we should have the tiebreaker if it comes down to that. So
Yeah, well, let's hope not. But yeah, you're right, Emmett. We need to really do well on this homestand. 6-3, I think, is the minimum we can win, and we got to hope for some teams ahead of us to lose games when we win games, so we can start picking up some space. Because it's more, the further we get into September and the less games on the schedule, the tougher it gets. But I like it. I think it's great. Like you said, we're talking competitive Royals baseball as we enter into the Labor Day weekend, which is great news. The roster seems pulling together. The pitching, poor Seth Lugo's had kind of a bumpy go, so we need to tighten that up a little bit. But Berger that we picked up seems to be doing well. He finally got past the 5th inning or 5.5 innings or whatever it was. Had a good game the other night. So cautiously optimistic, I heard.
I was listening to the post-game show after last night's game, and first of all, people were complaining that Yaz, that's our guy, Yastrzemski, we call him Yaz. He was complaining that Yaz swung at that 3-0 pitch, and after a while, the guy on the post-game show got angry. It's just a classic case of being like a backseat fan, kind of like the people who were complaining about him swinging probably would have done the same thing if they were in his shoes. That's the first part. Second of all, someone made a comment last night that Lugo hasn't pitched as well since we gave him the extension, and do you think that's a fair statement?
Oh yeah, I think it is, and the data supports it. So he's had kind of a rough going. I think he's got like a 8.9 ERA since we signed him. He hasn't really gone very deep in any games. Last night he just made it a little bit, 3 1/3 innings, something like that. So yeah, it's been a bit choppy, but hopefully, he can right the ship. He's got a history of kind of, up and down, but he's got such a experienced and good experience, lots of pitches. Hopefully he can kind of turn it around and get anchored in there. But so I'm cautiously optimistic on him.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
But what's very unfortunate is, and Lugo had a 3-0 lead last night, and he managed to blow it. And something else unfortunate. Let's say the Yankees and the Royals it comes down between those two teams, and we have a tiebreaker situation. Yankees, we don't have a tiebreaker against them.
Right.
Do we have the tiebreaker against the Guardians, or do you not know?
I don't know. That's a good question. We've got a few more games against the Guardians, but the Guardians are kind of fading out. So I think it's like you said, it's really the Mariners, Red Sox, and Yankees, and I'm encouraged that we can keep the tiebreaker against the Mariners, but what we need to do is beat them out, period, not get into a tiebreaker situation.
I thought I heard, it may have been the post-game show like a month or so ago, but I think someone made a comment that in order to get the tiebreaker against the Mariners, we need to take 3 of 4 in Cleveland in the upcoming series, which Cleveland's not the easiest place to go as an away fan. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, I think the main point is win, 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 play good ball. Your point about fans calling and say, he shouldn't have swung at that pitch.
You wouldn't have done any better.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. You read my mind. That's why we're good co-hosts, Emmett. We think alike. Yeah, it was like, put you on the field, see if you would have done any better. And yeah, the conventional wisdom is on 3-0, you take the pitch. But, I kind of, given what Yastrzemski has done, I mean, my gosh, he's gotten how many leadoff home runs? 4 leadoff home runs since he came here.
I've not been counting, but it's been a lot.
I mean, he's kind of setting some records there. I'm not going to question his judgment. And, not only on him, but some of the other players, I think they're doing pretty well. And you can't kind of go into one swing, one play, one pitch and kind of write the whole game off. I mean, it's a tough game to play and to be precise every time. I mean, let's face it, if you strike out 70% of the time and get hits 30% of the time, you're a 300 hitter, which is a pretty good deal to have. So, got to take some of that criticism. And people keep complaining about the manager, Q, and his decisions. Not every decision is going to work perfectly, and I think it's a little short-sighted to think we haven't got a good manager. He seems to have executed well.
Yeah.
And that comeback win against the White Sox, all his calls worked out well in the end when he put pinch hitters in, including Yastrzemski being one of them. They didn't do right in the first time they were at bat, but in the next inning when they came back around, they were the ones that won that game. So yeah. I think we got to keep pushing for the Royals. Let's hope we get on a hot winning streak. Yeah, knock on wood again. And that the Mariners, in particular the Mariners and maybe the Yankees kind of get in a extended slump and we can kind of catapult into the wild card and then hold on to that wild card spot and get into the playoffs and more October baseball. Ain't that going to be fun?
Can you imagine how some of the Yankees players, you can probably guess I'm talking about, would react if the Royals made the playoffs and they didn't?
Yeah. Yeah, who would that player be? Does JC come to mind? Yeah, well, anyways, you can tell we're not big Yankees fans here.
Oh, gosh, no.
No, we're big Royals fans. But anyway, let's go Royals. Let's get hot. Let's get in there. Let's get our pitching solidified. And let's get in the playoffs so we can continue to talk about baseball in October, which we can. But it'd be nice to be talking about playoff baseball. Don't you think, Em?
Yeah. Yeah,
that'd be good. Okay, so the big current event, or maybe it's TV politics or media politics, but we wanted to, this week it's been kind of breaking news every day of who's in and who's out at Saturday Night Live. And, one of the recent announcements came out. It looks like Heidi Gardner, our hometown favorite Kansas City star. Go Heidi. But we've had a long history of KC people on Saturday Night Live.
We have?
Yeah. Jason Sudeikis, he was on Saturday Night Live for a while. Paul Rudd's been on in guest appearance. And do you remember George Wendt? Do you know George Wendt? He passed away recently.
I only started watching SNL in the last couple of years, with like season 48, I think.
So George Wendt, he was in Cheers. He was Norm. He is actually Jason Sudeikis' uncle, and he made a lot of appearances on Saturday Night Live. So another KC connection. Have you seen the skit where the guys sit around and talk about the Bears?
I watched that,
Yeah, so that's George Wendt, a local guy. So anyway, they're making a lot of changes there. Emmett, what do you think about that as we head into season 51 of the SNL?
Yeah, it's not just Heidi Gardner, though. Some other guys like Michael Longfellow, who, from what I read, had only been a repertory cast member for 1 year. Devin Walker, and then someone who was only featured for 1 year, Emil Joaquim, is leaving the show too. So, I mean, I'll be honest. Yeah, it kind of stinks that Heidi Gardner's not going to be on the show next year. She was one of my favorites because she's from Kansas City and loves the Royals and Chiefs. But I mean,
and is a great comedian, I think.
Yeah,
be a little biased, but I think she does a good skit. She's got a real great delivery when it comes to stuff like that. She plays really well.
And then, but I'll be honest. If they get rid of Kenan Thompson, I'll be a little more upset because Kenan is basically the face of SNL. He's been on show 20-something years, I think.
He's been on a long time, yeah. It's always good to see him.
Kenan's the face of the show, so if they get rid of Kenan, I'll be upset. But if they get rid of my other favorite, one Chloe Fineman, I'll be a little upset too, I think.
Yeah, so let's hope the bleeding stops there. hopefully Laura Michaels will see fit to find another Kansas City talent to bring in.
Although there aren't many other comedians from Kansas City that can be on the show, are there?
We don't know. We'll find out.
I mean, the only people I know for Kansas City that could be on the show were Heidi Gardner, Paul Rudd,
Jason Sudeikis,
Rob Riggle. Was that I'm saying his name right?
Yep, you got that. Well, they may be passing, and best wishes to Heidi as she goes on to a next stage in her career. We're all behind her and support her 100%, and we'll miss seeing her on Saturday Night Live. But go into season 51. Should be fun. Always is.
One last thought.
Something to stay up late for. Okay, closing thought on SNL.
Yeah. So, and this season 51 is also going to have a milestone this year as well. The 1000th episode will be in February. Just had to add that.
Okay,
so
that's a good factoid. Okay, great. We'll have to mark that on our calendars. Okay.
Yeah.
So looking forward to SNL. It's always good to watch new shows come on the air, although a lot of the repeats can be fun too.
Yeah.
Okay, Emmett, we've covered a lot of territory today, everything from football to baseball to TV politics, but, we got to talk about pets and everything. And, we've been taking Twiggy out more. We talked last show about taking her out on her leash. She's doing more of that. She's getting to be pretty comfortable going outside. We got to watch the doors because she tends to bolt for the doors now a little bit more.
Because a couple days ago, I was taking Logan in the front yard for a break, and I was preoccupied with telling Logan, okay, Logan, this isn't a walk, we're just going in the front yard. Anyway,
he gets excited when he sees the leash.
And I forgot to close the garage door, and I'm walking back to put the leash in the garage. The cat's inside the house or in the garage. It goes beneath the car. I have to shake Logan's treat container to get her out, but that was very poor timing because I was about to leave for work. But anyway, we have to watch the doors now.
Yeah, even more so than before. She always liked to bolt into the garage, but
you have to close the door behind you, or she will go in the garage.
Yep. So we got to take care of the cat. Twiggy's enjoyed going outside, and I think it's opened up a whole new world of possibilities to her, but we got to be careful. But the big pet news this weekend is what is to this weekend? What do we celebrate?
Logan's birthday. And technically Logan's birthday is July.
June or
July, one of those two.
But it's really his adoption birthday.
Yeah,
right?
because
when we adopted him.
It was this weekend many years ago that Logan came to our house for the first time for a trial run, and then he never left. And this kind of his adoption weekend, we call it. So we celebrate his birthday.
Yep.
But this year he's turning
10.
10.
Thanks for the hint. You know how I am on birthdays. I forget everybody's birthday, including Logan's.
When's Joe's?
We just had Joe's, August 16th. I think I got that right.
You got it right.
Okay.
I'm teasing you.
Yeah. I could make an excuse. I'm just going to say I'm a dad. Anyway. But yeah, it's Logan's big weekend. So I think, we were talking earlier, we're going to take him out for a pup cup maybe. Take Twiggy along, or at least get a pup cup for her. And we want to go out and get Logan a special dog treat, maybe get a cookie or something that's dog friendly, and celebrate Logan being around, our go-to friend who, we've told people on our podcast, I call him Shadow, because that first weekend he came around, I led him around on a leash for a couple days so that he knew who he was servicing. He was a service dog.
And Logan is not stop following Dad. Like Dad could go outside and Logan could be behind a door. And this doesn't always happen. It's just an example of how devoted Logan is. And he'll start going like,
whimpering, where's my daddy? Where's my daddy?
Or like he always wants Logan loves his daddy more than the rest of us, probably.
Well, he loves all of us,
which is fair.
But he's attached. Yeah, he's good. What's my nickname for Logan?
Shadow.
Because he's always on my heels, shadowing me around the house.
It's actually Logan's middle name. Logan's middle name is Logan Shadow Haig because he follows Dad. Twiggy's full name is Twiggy Sniffles Haig because she sneezes. And then Oreo's middle name, I'm pretty sure what was my idea, Oreo Cookie Haig.
Yep, I think that was yours. Yeah, we went with that one. Good. So lots of good pet names. So anyway, everybody wish Logan a happy birthday, and stay tuned for more adventures of cat walking outside. See how that goes with Twiggy. We'll keep you updated on that. And maybe one week we can get Logan and Twiggy on camera. What do you think?
Yeah, and maybe sometime this fall we'll take Twiggy outside. I'll take a video of it and we can post it on our podcast channel.
There's a great idea. Yeah.
And then charge people to watch it. I'm kidding.
I'm
kidding.
You know, for cat videos, who knows what people will do for a good cat video? But yeah, that's a great idea, Emmett. Let's work that into our production plan. Okay. So Emmett, we covered a lot of territory. Any last thoughts before we sign off?
Have a happy Labor Day. Stay safe. Enjoy the weekend. And please like, share, and subscribe to our podcast, as it helps fuel our mission to be as popular as the Kelsey brothers. Our goal by January 1st, 2026 is 10 subscribers. We have 8, so please help us get there.
Oh, I think we'll get to 10 well before that time frame. And gee, we should have had the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift engagement announcement on our podcast. How could we have a podcast this week and not talk about Travis and Taylor getting engaged?
Is this a sports podcast? Not a Taylor Swift podcast?
That might be one reason, but we'll have to work in where they'll get married. Maybe that's Arrowhead. Okay. Just a suggestion. Our backyard, and we could have the cat come outside. Okay, we're getting carried away. We were trying to wrap up.
Okay.
But yeah. Thanks for tuning in. We enjoy having you with us, and we enjoy our podcast. But sign back in, watch us on YouTube, and like Emmett said, please like us and subscribe. And as always, we enjoy your feedback. Thank you, and thanks for joining us on our episode of
Sports, Politics, and Occasionally Cats. Have a good Labor Day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Mark, and thanks for joining us today on Sports, Politics, and Occasionally Cats. Spoc. What a great show we had today, Emmett. Those were wonderful stories. I can't wait to follow up and listen again on all the usual sites where you get podcasts. Go to Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you find your podcast. And it's Spoc. Sports, Politics, and Occasionally Cats. Wow, that's a great, funny story we had about that cat today, Emmett. Thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to hearing you on our next show.